Just say what you mean what you say.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment.
Welcome. Larisha Speaks. I'm here with an update on the case that I previously done in regards to Keshaun Earley. If this is the individual or the young man who went to trial, was found guilty for a murder he did not commit in 2014 in the state of New Jersey in Atlantic County. I'm going to speak with Tanika Mays in regards to some other things or some other information she thought that was relevant in regards to his case, because it's very, very important that when we look at these cases and we say these people are incarcerated, the devil is in the details on how this person was found guilty for a crime he didn't commit. Because it's easy to say that this is done to us, but how it's done to us also needs to be accounted for. Because if we're ever going to change the problem, we have to address the problem. And part of the rules of evidence, what the judge allow in and don't allow in, or the information that they had, where they know they shouldn't even be charging people in the first place, that's an issue. That's why I say a lot of this is fraud, because it is what it is. So we're going to introduce into Tanika Mays, and we're going to start talking in more details in regards to this case.
Hi again.
Hello,
Hello.
hi, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Welcome. So
Yeah.
I basically, the devil is in the details. This is where we want to get into the nitty and the gritty of how the young man was convicted of charges when there was clear evidence to show that he has an alibi.
Yes.
And how can the prosecutor or the state even charge somebody with a crime that has an alibi? They have the information for their alibi, and then they delete the alibi just because they want this person to be convicted of this crime. Even
Yes.
if they had a witness saying that they saw that person, you
Mm-hmm.
have evidence to show that those eyewitness testimony has been largely refuted as not reliable.
Yes.
So if you have evidence to show that that person was somewhere else, as a prosecutor, your duty is to say, okay, well, it couldn't have been this person
Yes.
because
Well,
the evidence shows he
yeah,
wasn't there.
exactly. The reason why that the prosecutor went bend over backwards to convict Keshaun is because the detective erased the evidence. So it's like we don't want to get ourselves in trouble because we allowed this misconduct to happen within this case. So we have to do everything to make sure that we don't. It's not, because when they first arrested him, remember, he told them where he would be on cameras and everything. And that lady detective, she erased everything, all his whole entire alibi. She erased it,
And
and she
she's still
wasn't supposed
employed.
to. Yeah, and that's what basically landed him, like the domino effect went down because they was covering for each other. The judge ain't want the judge. He had 4 judges on his case. Like that's a lot of judges. He had many of same prosecutor, 4 judges, 3 different lawyers, because the judges, I believe, they knew he was innocent and they didn't want nothing to do with that. So they reclused themselves. But the 4th one is like, okay, they waited for the video footage and stuff and everything to be, surfaced, and nobody then they took their time a whole year to say they didn't have it. They didn't have it anymore. It was destroyed.
And that's a tactic that they use, out of sight, out of mind. This case, for everybody who's watching this one who didn't see the other one, I think it's one of my most viewed interviews. It's
Mm-hmm.
like 200, over 200, either 237 or 252. I have 2
Yeah,
interviews.
this needs to be, millions of people need to see this. I wish I could put it on national news because it's disgusting how it happened. And being that if you watch the first one, this one right here is I was explaining that Keshaun was on his phone throughout this whole time at a different look at Mays Landing, New Jersey, like what he said he was at. His phone pinged on multiple towers out there. At the same time, this guy was, the homicide was happening. He was posting Facebook posts, responding to them, answering phone calls, but he never made a phone call, but he was answering phone calls. But all this is being pinged in from Atlantic City. Not Atlantic
This
City,
is
I'm
the thing,
sorry, Mays Landing, not Atlantic
this is
City.
the thing that bothers
So
me about the case. In regards, especially with social media, when you see how the government wants to use social media posts, also your rap
against
lyrics, to prove that you're
against
guilty of a crime.
yeah.
But you can't use that same tactic to prove that the person is innocent. Is it's like they're literally playing in our face. Because the
Yes,
fact
because
that this person,
if his phone pinged in Atlantic City that whole entire time, oh, you most definitely done it. Even if you say you didn't do it, you done it because your phone was there. Your phone
exactly,
pinged it.
but because
But
his
since his
phone
phone,
wasn't there, he was on his phone, he was making posts, he was talking to people. The prosecutor just came up with a lie in their head. Oh,
yeah,
somebody else. How can you, and
oh,
this
we
is the
can't.
thing
It's
about
not
the law.
reliable. It's not reliable. You could have had somebody else post, make posts, answer posts, post stuff, answer phones. They said because he didn't make a call, so it wasn't legitimate enough,
And
reliable
this
enough for him to be
corruption.
on his own phone. Yeah.
This is the corruption piece. This is the corruption piece where I say attorneys should have, or they're supposed to have integrity. And because once they stick in their head, well, this is the theory for this case, and this is what we're going to, even if clues don't fit with their theory, and this is a post about the truth, is knowing, your opinion. They don't
Mhm.
care about the truth. They don't care that they have evidence that this person was somewhere else, that if there's a videotape, there's videotape evidence, and this is the killer. There is videotape evidence where this person at 12:15 is outside of a apartment complex 30 minutes later,
No,
and
actually,
that's the person you try 15 minutes.
yeah, actually, they
12:15
have.
where it
Yeah,
could
it was
be,
like, yeah, it was like 15 minutes. They said he
and
had enough time.
you have this person on video somewhere else, but this is because this is they want to find him guilty of this crime, even though they know he didn't do it. They have the evidence to prove he didn't do it. And that's it. This is one of the cases where it keeps me up at night. It breaks my heart.
Yes,
It
and the
really does.
judge even said, even one of his judges even say he can't sleep at night because he don't know how to rule this case. He said he wanted to dismiss it, but the demand for justice was too high. Modern day, I guess, lynch mob was wanting him so bad that they arrested the wrong person definitely, but they had to arrest somebody, and he just so happened to just got pulled into it and never got pulled out. Never got
And
pulled out.
it's very disheartening. Now, recently he appealed in court. I believe it was on March the 11th,
Yes, it was a
and that was his appeal for him to have a new trial.
yes. See, this is everything is a step. So he already had an old argument already in 2017. That same judge denied it. The same judge that denied everything, she denied it. She denied it. She said it's he's the merits wasn't good enough for
Let me
you
get a new
know
trial.
because they really didn't have evidence that the judges or the prosecutors erased footage, and it was necessary if they did because they never showed the policies and procedures. Those things was very important, and nobody ever looked for them. Nobody ever said, let's find these things and make sure that things are, adequate in this case. Nobody never did that. So now they are available. So that's in his case, back in his case again. So when he had a PCR old argument. This is second old argument. You don't supposed to have but one. They granted him a second one because they know So hopefully this is the thing that puts the ices on the cake, but it's still unjust because this man spent all these times and all these years in jail, and since I've been on this case, the Atlantic County prosecutor's office is a disgusting place. I never seen such a disgusting amount of people in my life. They just do whatever they want to do and they're getting away with it. Like I've seen cases, like I cannot fathom. Like wow, like it's like where's the concern or the empathy? Like they don't have any. They don't have none. They just want what they want. The conviction. They want to. Like, I guess they want to make the county crime free, but it's impossible. Atlantic
I
City
don't
is
even think it's that. I think the New Jersey judiciary, the branch of government that's in charge of the prosecutor, the police, the sheriff, the law enforcement community, they're just used to black people being convicted of charges they didn't do. They don't care about the innocence or guilt. They care about
No,
having that person convicted.
they don't. They don't. But
Because once
I
that
know.
person is convicted, they can make them a slave and they can disenfranchise them. The state of New Jersey, there's 9 black people incarcerated to 1 white person. And the level of people who are incarcerated for crimes they did not commit is ridiculous. And I got a
I can
message from
imagine.
somebody yesterday who wants to do an interview with me while he's in prison on the phone with his case because he's wrongfully convicted. It's an issue, but they don't. The community is supposed to
Uh-oh.
care about
That's,
convicting people for crimes they didn't commit and making sure you get the right one. Because if a murder was committed and you don't have the murderer in custody, the person who committed that murder could be free to commit another murder, like what happened in Keshaun's case, where more people are unalive because
definitely.
the law enforcement is you're not seeking the right person for the crime. You're seeking any black person for the crime. And
Yeah,
that's
you
the
just
issue.
seeking into your case, into your case. Let's hurry up and wrap this up. Pull him off the street. Because basically that's what I feel like they did to him.
And the state of New Jersey, the prosecutor's office had the evidence, the videotape evidence that he was in a different location. In addition to
Yes,
the videotape evidence showing that he was in a different location, that he was not at the scene of the crime, that he was not involved nowhere near the crime, they also had evidence that he was on the phone and on the internet at the time of the offense.
but this is it right here.
Also happened with his case.
This is
What's
his
that?
phone record. You see the
Oh, that's his
time?
phone record.
You see 11:17 to 12:15. These are his phone records that was pinging in Mays Landing. These are all the phone records.
In
And
addition to
this
having
is him right
that
here.
alibi,
This is him right here. They have him at Mays Landing. What time was this? The shooting happened at 12:16. They have him on there at 12 between 12:20 and 12:40.
they
This is
have
him
him
right
30 minutes away.
here. Yeah, that's him right here.
That's him
This
right
is
there.
him
Wow.
at Mays Landing. This is 15 to 20, 15 minutes after. They gave it like 15 minutes. But these are these is right here. All these are Facebook posters he liking and stuff. You know, this is all around the same time that this guy's man, you know, unfortunately, and it's more.
And it's sad. So
Right
this
here,
and
all
this
the
is the
posters
evidence that the prosecutor had
yeah,
in their case. So the
these are all
prosecutor
the
has
stuff.
information that this person did not do it. This prosecutor has information that this person is nowhere near. This person is actually has an alibi on Facebook, tweeting. You know, sometimes we scroll and scroll
Yeah.
and scroll. In addition to that, when Keshaun was arrested with 3 hours, I believe it was 3 hours from the incident.
Um, no, like around 5 o'clock. This happened at 12, so like five
Okay.
5 hours later.
5 hours later, the state of New Jersey did not perform gunshot residue tests on him.
None.
Because if that would have been performed, he would have easily been excluded because he wouldn't have any gunpowder on his clothes or on him. And the state of New Jersey accused him of committing a crime, but they failed. And this is how competent they are. They know that they couldn't have passed that test.
Yeah,
Because then he really would have been excluded from.
I don't know if you can see this. This is the whole basically timeline. I'll send it to you for you can like put it on there. But this is basically like the whole timeline of everything. And you know, it says eyewitnesses could not have made the observations because they said
Too
they was
far in
standing
distance from
yeah,
the time
yeah. And they
from
said
where the
that
incident was. You couldn't see the person.
authorities did bare minimum to verify alibi, deny, calls, anything. They didn't do anything. They didn't do any protocols right. It says impossible to flee a shooting and return to Mays Landing within 14 minutes because they had them on camera. It's impossible. Trust me. I drove it. And it says the lead detective destroys all alibi video except what could, just disgusting. I'll send it to you. But you can
sad on so many levels that he is a victim, and it was done to him because he's a black man in New Jersey, and they didn't think that anybody would fight him.
He was young. He was 26 at the time. So, you know what they're trying to say, that he should have objected to. Okay, now you have a counsel. If he wants to object to something that he would have probably been felt contempt of court. Like you can't just say they put it all on. Actually, they put it on all of them. They make them seem like they're supposed to know the law, but they just hire these people or these people are hired just to like be a puppet. You supposed to know everything, and if you don't feel right, you could object and stuff. But if you don't know, you're not a law. You don't know the law. You didn't know
Basically,
the law.
at 26, he should have had a law degree and he should have understood his rights. When it's the responsibility of the prosecutor who went to law school, who understand the law, for them not to even bring these charges. And this is why I say a lot of this is fraud. And this is why a lot of things, I think, as a people, we need to start changing the narrative of what's being done to us. What is
Yes.
being done to us is fraud, racketeering, and organized crime, so that we are convicted of crimes that we didn't commit. And it's
Yes.
done to us because we don't know the law, we don't know the system,
And
but they know the system, so they know they can't be, they shouldn't even be charging us with these offenses.
yeah, and then it's like people that don't like, they so scared to speak up. Like, I have a like, you sure you want to get involved in that? You can, like, what's gonna happen to me? What's gonna
The
happen
truth
to
is the truth. Fraud
me?
is fraud.
Yeah, and a lot of people, like, they scared to speak up on things like that. They'll just let whatever happen. Like, like Keshaun, he has a really big family, and not saying that they didn't care. It was just like, they didn't know what to do. Basically, it's like, what do we do now? Because the Lord, it was, honestly, they felt that he was going to be like, oh,
And
they
this
were
is the
going to
thing,
find him innocent.
the system does that on purpose.
Yeah,
The system know that they can target black people because black people don't have the
knowledge,
support,
that too.
the support, the knowledge to fight them, because you're going against the whole entire system. Because he is not the only one to be charged for a crime he didn't commit. It
Yeah, I
was
know.
just a man released for 29 years for a murder he didn't commit. And it's no mistake, and it's not an isolated incident or coincidence. It's not a coincidence that all of these black young men are in prison for 10, 20, or 30 years for crimes they did not commit. When
And
you
I,
have people who are guilty of crimes, who are guilty of unaliving people on camera, and they are found not
look,
guilty. That same
slaps on the
system,
wrist, slaps on the
but
wrist.
it's not even, George Zimmerman doesn't have a slap on the wrist. He has nothing. Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't have a slap on the wrist. These people are let go, and they are they are guilty of the crime, but
Yes,
they are
very
found
guilty.
innocent. But we have innocent people with an alibi,
Yes,
not only with an alibi, with evidence being destroyed by the state to
yes.
destroy their
Destroyed his
case.
alibi. Did
It's
not
just
do any. Did not do any kind of, like, like ballistic testing. New Jersey's highly admissible. Like, you can't. They supposed to had did that. And another thing is that what convicted him too, he has 8 different issues that his lawyer she put across to the courts. 8 different things, and they're not just a universal, oh, he have an ineffective counsel type thing. It is way, like, more detailed. Like, this is what this judge did not perform her duties as a judge. She act like she did. She wasn't. You was a judge. I mean, you was a prosecutor also. You had your steps in your life. You ain't just become a judge like that. You was the supervisor before you became a judge. So that means you were over a people. So that means you should have knew that they had those policies in there. You should have knew. She act like
they
she
have
didn't know.
evidence.
I
They had
don't
evidence
know.
before 1998. Before 1998, they had evidence policies in the 70s. They
But
had
it's a
evidence
homicide.
policies in the 50s. You've had evidence policies and procedures have been in existence since the court. But the
Yes, I
one
know.
that the Atlantic County has dates back to 1998. So in court, the prosecutor, as a defense for them destroying this evidence where this young man is on videotape, they got pictures of him. The state said that there are no rules on the record for
Yeah,
evidence, retaining evidence, and
homicide routine.
that was
Yeah,
allowed to go in court.
yeah,
That is
but it's
crazy.
not. Honestly, I'm saying, like, destroying video footage, everything that has in a homicide, any case, it has to have his own trial. A judge has to decide if it's appropriate enough and why the prosecutors or whoever want it destroyed. and it's most likely not going to happen because you have to have the homicide evidence. It's indefinite. It's permanent. That's it. You cannot just destroy something that was taken because of a homicide and just take it upon yourself to take what you feel like you want and tell the person, oh, you can just erase it. But you kept all 220 hours of the actual homicide. All that footage is still available to this day. So why is all this footage still available? You know, it's
because
like
they
that is the
wanted
most
him to
ironic.
after
Like I cannot fathom it. I really like. I told Keshaun. I said, it's not the judge's fault, but she could have changed the whole trajectory of his thing.
if
She
she
could
would
have
have did the
changed it.
drug thing.
She
But they
decided.
don't want to do that,
If
and
she
they
would have
know
did
that
what
they
she
can
supposed to
target
have
black people.
done,
It will be over. They know they can target black people and treat them any type of way, and they still
and she
expect
kind of got
us to
mad.
respect the court.
She got mad. Like I wouldn't trust a woman like that. She got mad and would not everything that was black. Like when Keshaun had the fourth lawyer, the lawyer had just got his case. Now she was working on another high profile case, and she had just got his case because his lawyer fell ill. Honestly, they found him drinking and driving. But anyway, he fell ill, so he had to get replaced. And she had his case file for not that long. She said it was 17 boxes worth of stuff. She didn't have time to go through all it because she just got it. So they called them into court, and she said, if you can't try this right now, I'm going to dismiss it. So she had to go for what she know, and that was it. And she in her mind, she already was going to deny it anyway, because she, this act is alone. You supposed to have gave that woman enough adequate time to go through,
Prepare for the case.
prepare her case. You could have adjourned, what was the problem? What was the urgency that you wanted it to be done right then and there? I want this case done now. You just wanted to get it out your way.
No,
But
she didn't want him to prepare for it because
because if she would have
got
been,
the facts
she
would
was
have
going to
been
slam dunk that case.
exactly because
Like
you
a
don't want the
slam
person to
dunk.
not be held accountable. So
Yeah, she was,
you
and
want
then it would have trickled back on her, and then the prosecutor, and then the detective. I've never been so disgusted with people in my life, and I hope whatever justice is done, I hope it's in the right direction, and I hope they are accountable, and if not, I'm trying my best to make sure that they are accountable for this, because
I'm working on a documentary to try to bring attention to it. His case, he's going to be one of the cases that's featured in the documentary
yeah,
because stories like his need to be told because it's not an isolated incident. It's
it's
not
not.
a fusion. The fact
I
that it's
know
happening and they don't even the people who are supposed to care, and at the same time they're telling us that we have to respect the court, we have to respect but we
judicial
see this as
system.
bias and
Have faith
corruption.
in it. Have faith in them, because this is what they're supposed to do. Just have faith in them. They're gonna, fix all the wrongs and right. Yeah, okay, and making
In addition to him
the
having
wrong
an
wronger.
alibi.
Huh?
In addition to him having an alibi and being on videotape evidence of him not being there, they
Yes.
have his Facebook of him posting and not being there. In
Posted
addition to that,
and
they
liking.
didn't even do the gunshot residue taste. As soon as you arrest him, you could have eliminated him right then and there. They failed to do that because they know that
Yeah.
he wouldn't have had no gunshot residue on him.
Yes, he
But
would.
then they deleted evidence. They deleted the videotape, majority of the videotape, 200 hours of him being nowhere near the scene of the crime. But they found him guilty and he was sentenced to 40 years in prison. That is just
Yes,
like,
and it's like it gives me like chills just to just think about it. Like I feel so bad for him every day. Like an inmate. He's not an inmate. I mean, he's not an inmate. He's his name. Like, don't call him that, because I don't feel that. I know he's not one, because he's not supposed to be there. He was with his daughter. He was at the park with his daughter. They came and arrested him while he was with his daughter. Yes. She was 7 years old at the time. 12 years ago.
now she's a full-fledged adult. That's
Now she's yep. And then they have These are two. These are more things that happen in Mays Landing. These are more photos of him being in Mays Landing. But no, they said he was doing this.
And a jury of 12 found him guilty.
A jury. Okay, now remember I told you about the jury selection thing. So Atlantic City is very small. So all the minority jurors, they were taken off the case because they had some connection to his family. He has family, a lot of family out there. So they took a lot of them off. So basically 12 jurors were all of Caucasian elements, and they were all middle age.
And
So
this is the thing why I tell people about
the jury of his peers.
But this is the thing I tell people about the jury. When you get your case in the hands of the jury, they didn't care that the black person had an alibi, had the videotape evidence, had the evidence on the Facebook. The prosecutor said this person did it, and the 12 white people went along with it. Just because he had on a white t-shirt and everybody else had a white, no gunshot residue. 215 hours out of two. So they took 215 and a half hours out of 216 hours of videotape.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is right here. This is the timeline too. This is when the dude got what happened to him. And this is all the records. Like was nothing in the Atlantic City side on his phone. This is all from
the other side, his alibi.
Yeah, his alibi side. This is his phone. This is basically a snapshot of his phone, like what was happening that whole time period. And this is when
the jury found him guilty.
Oh no, because they never seen this.
But this is the issue. The fact that the prosecutor even presented his case is the issue. The fact that this person is even being charged is fraud of the court, because as an attorney, you have to show that you believe that this person did it. How can you believe that with this evidence?
And I remember I told you the time. This is a still shot of before the thing. You see the time 2:16.
Yeah.
12:16, and the phone things is the first records. I don't know if you can see it. It says 12:11. 12:11, and it was over at Mays Landing. That's the phone time off his phone. His phone pinged at 12:11. The homicide started happening at 12:16.
So how can he be there 5 minutes later? It's 30 minutes.
Prosecution said he gave somebody his phone to answer the phone.
So what about the videotape? You got videotape of him at the same time. So if he gave somebody his phone, the videotape shows him in Mays Landing.
Yeah, 15 minutes after. So they said he did all this. But the thing that really made it is that the jury relied on those witness statements. The two girls, they said that he was there. That was him. That was one said he had on lime green sheet. Okay, this is what they say he had on. Now they seen all this because they was so in the window. So this is the first one. She said this is the description. White shirt, army fatigue shorts. Shooter has on lime green sneakers, and this is what the other one said he had on. White shirt and blue jeans. Then when he got caught, he had a white shirt on. And they said, he must have just changed his pants. They both say he had a white shirt on. What's the guy did have a white shirt on, because the guy is right here. He did have a white shirt on. This is the actual guy right here.
That's the actual shooter?
Yeah. So, but they said that he had on army fatigue shorts, and the other one said he had on blue jeans.
So they don't even know what he had on.
Huh?
I told you, eyewitness testimony is not reliable.
Yeah, but that's what they said. We'll forget everything else. We have these two witnesses that was disputing, not disputing that it was not him. It was him. It was him from the moment. But they didn't tell the police it was him afterwards, because they had to find out who he was. But they knew him so well, but they didn't know him. And then when the detective even said that they used to date and those other stuff, but if you know somebody used to date, you know exactly who they are. You don't got to go find nobody. You used to date them, so why you got to go look for a name and away from? Oh, is this person? But you used to date him. You told the detective that.
The defense attorney should have the defense attorney
was
should have been able to
piece of
discredit
work
them.
too.
I know.
He shouldn't even have been his lawyer, because I told you he was the same lawyer of the
He was
victim.
a lawyer for the victim.
Yes, prior lawyer. Yes, so he should have excluded himself too, but he didn't, and he did not do a. At first, he was doing, like, when I read the transcripts, at first it seemed like he was doing what he had to do, and then I guess it was probably like, chill out, slow your roll. They probably told him to slow, like, you really about to make us look bad. It's like, chill your butt out.
We got to find him guilty of this crime because we need a person in prison.
Yep.
So, how long does it wait for the appeal to come back?
It could take 30 days to 90 days, but I don't see it taking that long. And the outcome could be they can exonerate them, they can vacate it, they can remand it, or they can affirm it. And I doubt they are going to affirm this. The points are just too
glaring.
It's too blatant. It's just too blatant. Like, I mean, any person without a law degree, with a law degree, just a regular person, you just know that if you was to read this or understand it, you will be like, that is ridiculous. Like, for real. Just the fact that they erased your alibi and did not give it to the defense at all. Whatever, when it comes to the law, whatever the prosecutor get, the defense got to get the same thing. And don't go vice versa, though. The defense ain't got to get the prosecution nothing.
Oh, but you can't testify yourself.
Yeah, the prosecution got to give the defense whatever information they have. They have to. Even if it hurts or help their case, they still have to give it to them. Like, that you working on, you trying to, but they really, I don't understand how they just feel. I guess they felt like they got over with it. And I'm so glad I'm in his life now, because I told them, I spoke to numerous people. I just talked to the ombudsman. He called me the other day. And I'm like, okay, so he's telling me the proper steps. And like, I already did that already. And I'm like, okay, now it seems like you're giving me the runaround too. The next step, then everybody is not, above the law. So somebody's going to have to listen and somebody's going to answer. Because I'm going to make sure that somebody's going to, like, I made a complaint and I made numerous complaints. I talked to numerous people, but nobody's not doing nothing. It's like, well, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. Well, I got to do whatever I have to do. I said I was going to do a whole billboard. Put it right up on the billboard, right in Atlantic City.
Right, something. It's this case. It's so ridiculous. The fact that they deleted the evidence, the fact that he has an alibi, the fact that they didn't even do the gunshot residue, the fact that the medical examiner was saying whatever he want to say on cases and was fired.
Yes. When they said, I talked to the guy, he's like, oh, he no longer works here no more. I bet so.
He probably don't work in that one, but he's probably in another county. Just because he's not in that office doesn't mean he's not in another county.
He's not. If he was doing that, some people just don't deserve to be what they are. There's a lot of people,
but that's the people they hire and keep working.
Huh?
That's the people they hire and keep working. They have a mandate to make sure people who are innocent of crimes are in prison. That's the mandate. We have to have more slaves. We have to have people incarcerated, whether they're innocent or guilty.
But listen, there are a lot of people that actually do crimes, and they supposed to be in where they supposed to be.
They don't care about those people. Those people are usually free.
They don't care about them. They want the innocent ones, the ones that
because nobody's going to fight for them, and that's why we fight. I want to thank you for this interview. Thank you. Hopefully, we get this interview out and bring some more attention and some more light. I'm in the process of getting the funding for the documentary. His case is definitely one of the cases that I want to feature and want to talk about consistently.
Yeah.
And just send him my love and let him know that I'm praying for him.
Yeah. And hopefully when they make a give their response, there is a great response. And I said,
I just want to thank everybody for listening, because although you might think I sit up here and diss and everything like that, I'm just a positive person trying to do a positive thing, trying to have a little bit of fun and make my mark in the world.